Hey, Sisters, Anthony Rose. This is part 5 of our West Coast Swing Secret Series. This is kind of a bonus section where we cover the wrap in and out. Now, this is a unique part of this that we found there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Now, if you're brand new here at the channel, we post all of the country dances, including West Coast Swing, but we also cover two-step, waltz, polka, all that. But you can notice this little button down here and it says subscribe. Now, if you click that button, then you become an ex-dancer. You'll know when all the awesome stuff happens here on the channel. So we're gonna demonstrate the basic idea of the wrap in and out, and then we'll break it down. All right, guys, so we're gonna show you the basic wrap in and out. We'll show you some variations and then some syncopations. So the basic wrap in and out looks like this. And again. And then we have variations, which are essentially the same pattern over and over. They just look different. But we also have syncopations. All right, guys, let's break this down one piece at a time. Now, as with all the other videos, this is part 5 of a series. So if you've not watched parts 1 through 4, do that first. That link is right there. You should start there because they go in chronological order. Some of the stuff we'll talk about won't make sense unless you watch that stuff first, okay? The first thing is, assuming you've watched those videos, is this is a 6-count pattern, which is 3 sections of 2 beats of music, but those intentions that we talked about in the other video are still there. You have 3 separate intentions, 3 sections. She comes towards me, something happens, anchor. So let me show you this real quick. So she comes towards me, something happens, and then she anchors. So that is present. Now, section 1 of her coming towards me, that is no different for the leader or the follower of the basic side passes that we did. So all that's gonna happen, she's gonna walk towards me as I step back for 1 and I step out of the slot for 2. I get into that side circle that we've talked about in all those videos that you should have already watched. But then we wrap her up. I stay on the side and I wrap her up. I take that left hand in for 3 and 4. All right, so that turn is 1 full turn. So she has half, half, none. So if we watch that again, she walks for 1, 2, then she has half, half, none. That's not N-U-N, that's N-O-N-E, right? No rotation on that 3rd step. So normally she does 1.5 turns, but she's only gonna do 1. So she got walk, walk, then she has half, half, and then she steps straight for count 4. Now at this point, I'm gonna release that hand, I'm gonna step back into the slot, and we both do a triple step ending with an anchor. Now we're gonna talk about what an anchor is a little bit more. We don't necessarily do an anchor step, but we still do an anchor. I know for some of you that doesn't make sense yet, but hopefully that will in a second. So if we watch that from this side, that is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and I end up with my right hand connected to her left. So let me show you that stuff close up. All right, we're gonna show you the upper half first. So we have 1, I step out of the slot and prep, and you'll notice when I step out of the slot and prep, I start to bring the hand up just a little bit to put in the halo. Not all the way up, just a little bit, but I also prep her a little bit on count 2. Now I'm gonna leave my right hand down low, I'm gonna bring that left hand up over her head and then back down into this cradle position. So we have over the head around the halo, and then I bring it back down on count 4, in between the half and the 4. At this point, I'm gonna take my left hand, I'm gonna completely release it, and I'm gonna unwind her with my right hand. Now when I say unwind, I'm asking her to turn, I'm not making her turn. I just have to initiate, hey, we're doing this thing, I'm initiating that motion. I ask a question, she says yes. So if we watch that again from this side, we have count 1, which is straight, count 2, I'm stepping out, starting to bring the hand up, then I have a 3 and bringing it down for 4, release the left hand, 5 and 6. Let's show you the feet. All right, so what's gonna happen on counts 1 and 2 is I step straight back, she steps straight forward for 1. I'm gonna turn a quarter of a turn and out of the slot on count 2 as she steps forward for count 2. At this point, I'm staying on the side and I'm gonna stay facing the side wall as she rolls in for 3, and on count 4, she's gonna step forward and I'm gonna slightly move with her almost to the side. At this point, I'm gonna unwind her as I step back into the slot for 5 and 6. So if we watch that from this side, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Guys, we love doing these videos for you guys.
Truly.
We hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do, but it is not as good as it would be if we were right there with you, helping you in person. So here's what you got to do now. Click that link right there. We are literally on tour right now, and we probably have a location near you. You can come in and take a lesson with us in person, ask questions, and we would love to meet you guys. Guys, this section we're getting ready to talk about right now is the anchor. Now, this is an important section, so mark the time here in this video, and we're gonna say some stuff, and then I want you to rewind it and watch this stuff again, because this is important, not just in this pattern, but in all things. We gotta talk about the difference between an anchor and an anchor step, okay? Normally when we dance an anchor step, as we know it, is a 5 and 6 in place. But an anchor step is just one of many ways to create an anchor. Let me say that again. Anchor step is just one of many ways to create an anchor. It's not the only way. What happens in an anchor is we don't move and we have weight slightly going away from each other and stretching. That's an anchor, right? To where we've got this elasticity. An anchor step is just one of many ways to create an anchor. We could do that a bunch of different ways. We can go to the side, so we can go 5 and 6 or whatever she does, but we have to create that stretch. Now, when we do this wrap in and out, we're not doing a traditional anchor step, but we're still creating an anchor at the end of the pattern. The anchor is the stop and stretch. So if you watch this, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now she is turned facing the wrong direction. She can't do an anchor step here, so she's gonna unwind, but the important thing is she goes 5 and 6, and at the end, we have stretch. That's the important thing. So you've gotta have this stretch in order to be able to connect and lead to the next thing, okay? So we've got to have that present in all patterns. So now you can rewind that, watch it again. Make sure you understand that. If you have questions, leave it down below, because you got to know this stuff.
For sure. For West Coast Swing, this is it. The anchor, that's the key in it.
You don't have to do an anchor step, but you do have to do an anchor, and like all the things, okay? All right, now later we're gonna show you a variation away from that. But if we watch this again, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we have 5 and stretch away for the anchor. Now we get into the variations. Now this wrap in and out is a category of things. There's many different ways to do the wrap in and out, and obviously then later we can syncopate it. Now, a lot of you guys have either done this pattern or you've seen this pattern, but this is called the fold or a fold. This is the same thing as what we've just shown you, different handholds. So if you've ever seen this, this is a common variation of an anchor. Some people will do that with a sweep or a ronde or whatever, but all that's happening is she comes towards me for 1, 2, I get out of her way, she turns 1 turn, step, and then she unwinds 5 and 6 with an anchor at the end. All I'm doing is making sure to let her have this path. I go 1, 2, I leave the hand down low, I'm prepping on count 2. Then I'm gonna keep this hand down, and I'm gonna do what's called breaking the wrist, which is turning that wrist over. 3 and 4, keeping that close to her back. I step back into the slot just like we did before. She unwinds and wraps. Okay, so that is called a fold. That is one of many variations. Now, some of the other variations I showed you guys is if we went right hand to right hand, nice to meet you, left over top, then I'm gonna do the same footwork and go 1, 2, prepping on 2. Then I'm gonna take her into this sweetheart position for 3 and 4. Both of our footwork is still the same. Then I take that left hand back over top for 5 and 6. Still the same pattern, just looks like we're doing something new, when in reality, we are not, okay? So there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. You're gonna see this pattern, this concept kind of play itself out in a lot of different ways, but she basically comes towards me for section 1, section 2 in the wrap, in and out. She does 1 turn step, and then she unwinds and anchors at the end. Okay, the other thing that we promise you guys is that you can syncopate this stuff. Now, this is the first time in this series when we started talking about the structure of syncopating, which means either adding sections or subtracting sections, duplicating or removing. So let me show you this wrap in and out again. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Go watch this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Then we take her directly back in, unwind her again. Now the count for this, the way that we think about this on a basic wrap in and out is 1, 2, then we have 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Now if I didn't syncopate it, we'll try that again. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Now we have 3 and 4, 5 and 6. 3 and 4, 5 and 6. A bunch of different ways to do that, right? What we've done is we've completely eliminated section 1. we've eliminated the 1, 2,
Yep.
and gone directly into section 2. You notice I counted 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. The way that we do this in a lot of patterns is what's called a rock and go, right? So if I did a lot of things, like if I'm in this pattern, like if I did a whip, I'll show you. So if I went like 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, I might lead her for a rock and go. So the difference is, instead of letting her sink back into that anchor, like I told you about where we're stretching away from each other, I physically led her, so start moving back down the slide.
Yep.
Then we don't need to do section 1, which is she comes towards me. She's already doing that, so we don't need to make her do it again. So if you watch this wrap in and out, the syncopated version, again, we have come towards me, variation, normally anchor, but I send her towards me, she wraps in, and now I'm sending her towards me again. So all I'm really doing is letting her know at the end of what normally is the anchor to actually start moving forward. Now we do need to talk about the arm connection. Let me show you that. Now you may have noticed this before, but we've got to show you this. When we bring her in, everything is pretty much the same. But when we send her out, normally when we do the wrap in and out, I unwind her and she faces me. Now in this example, if we want to syncopate, we've got to get her facing a side wall, and she's not going to know to do that unless I tell her I want her to do that, right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to bring her in just like normal, but when I unwind her, I don't just give her a little bit of, hey, start moving. What's happening is I give her a little bit more to open her body up to the side, all right? So if you watch that from here, we're going 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now I've got to turn her until she's facing the side so that her body opens up. I bring her back in that direction so that I can do the same thing over here. I open her body up and send her in that direction. So like I said with the feet, I've got to get her moving forward on count 6 at the end of this. So she's going to have 1, 2, 3 and 4, and when I unwind her, I give her that little bit of extra oomph to unwind, but I also need her moving towards me on count 6. So if you watch that again, I'm sending her out, opening her up, and sending her forward so that her body's moving down the slot at the end of that pattern. So I want you guys to be able to be creative with this. Think about the different dance positions, the different handholds, the different ways you guys can connect with each other, and take this wrap in and out and see, can I do that from this position? So the basic one that we did was the cradle, this, or cuddle, or whatever you call this. This is just one different position. We can do the sweetheart, right? We can do things where we've got a cross handhold. There's a lot of different ways that we can connect with each other. So just with that syncopated wrap in and out, which is the one that we just did, which was here, and we go to one hand and we open up this way, there's no reason we couldn't also combine that with, say, the fold that we did earlier. So if we went from this position, I could go to like a shoulder catch. So I could bring her into this position, then unwind her more and maybe catch her on her shoulder. Then I could bring her in, catch her on the arm, catch her on the hip, right? This could happen in a bunch of different hand positions and connections, but ultimately underneath, when you watch it, it's still the same pattern over and over and over and over. So we do appreciate you guys watching this series. If you have any questions, anything you'd like to see, leave it down below. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna demonstrate some of this stuff to music, and then we'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to show you something. Never seen anything like this before, but if you click that link, you will be one of the cool kids in the know. That is xdance.com. That is the world's first interactive virtual dance training technology. Try to say that again. Or if you like to stay here on YouTube, that's a pretty cool video there.